Hello, everyone. Pastor BM here on the marriage of my youth. God bless you for being here and welcome back. Today we want to consider part two of sexual compatibility or sexual comparison. And in the part one, we consider the purpose or the purposes of sex in marriage. And we came to the place where we begin to see that it's one for reproduction, the two becoming one flesh, and for pleasure. And we saw how important sex is for God and for men. And today we want to consider those two words, compatibility and comparison. What are people really communicating? That's what we want to look into today. And if you have not yet watched the part one, I encourage you to go back and begin from there, and you will have proper understanding even as you progress in the part two. Now, for those of you that have watched the part one, do you remember my question? The question of in kingdom marriage, do we really do compatibility? Do we really follow sexual compatibility in kingdom marriage? That is where I want to start. That is where I want to start my talk from today. Now, in this kingdom, in the kingdom of God, and in kingdom marriage, we do not do sexual compatibility. We do not follow sexual compatibility. It is not a thing for a kingdom marriage. Now, you do not need to be sexually compatible in order for you to reproduce. You do not need to be sexually compatible in order for you to come to the place where the two become one flesh in terms of sexual intercourse. You do not need to be compatible. So it is very key that we understand that in kingdom marriage, there is no such thing as sexual compatibility. So that is key. You see, we see people in the world, for example, that do one night stand. So they see somebody today, whether at a club or wherever, and they have sex with the person. There is no compatibility play in there. So how come this has become a thing that is destroying a lot of marriages and hurting a lot of marriages? Something has crept in, and today we want to bring light to a few things by the grace of God. So does that mean we don't build sexual intimacy or romantic love? We do. We actually do. We build sexual intimacy, we build romantic love, but not in the sense of compatibility. Now, looking at the literal meaning of compatibility, where two things or two people can exist or occur together without problems or conflict. A man and a woman is disqualified already. Just imagine you and your wife living together in the same house without problems or conflict. You both are already disqualified for compatibility, because the literal meaning of compatibility is two things or two people existing or occurring together without problems or conflict. So we are very different human beings, and we were built differently. We were designed differently. Our thought pattern is different. So a man and a woman does not even fit in the literal meaning of the word compatibility. How then are we using that to hurt sex in marriage? So compatibility or sexual compatibility is not a thing in kingdom marriage. It is interesting though that the focus and the emphasis is on sex when it comes to compatibility, but we don't see or hear people talking about compatibility in other areas. Like finance, for example, we see that we have people that are spender and we have people that are savers. So imagine you are working so hard and trying to save money for the family, and you have one person that is just spending. There is a conflict already over there. There is a disagreement already over there in how finance is managed. So we don't see people speaking of compatibility as a whole, but we see the emphasis and the focus is just on sex. So today you're on a very good journey, and we pray for wisdom from God to learn together. Now, so what we call sexual compatibility is usually sexual comparison. What people are calling sexual compatibility is usually sexual comparison. So we are speaking about sexual comparison instead, because we are comparing our partners to our past. So our past experiences that we have had in other relationships, so we are comparing our partners to those relationships. And you see, if they do not meet the standard or your expectations that you have taken from your past relationship, you will feel or you will think that the both of you are not compatible. But the issue is not really compatibility that you are speaking to. You are just comparing them to the past. So probably in the past you have somebody experienced in the area of sex. So when you come into marriage and this person is not up to the standard of your ex or your past, you now begin to compare them, and if they do not meet your expectation and the standard of your past, you think that you guys are not compatible sexually. So people, usually when people are speaking of sexual compatibility, they are usually speaking of sexual comparison instead. Now you see, the word compatibility is a unique word. It's a very unique word. It's just how we have used it that makes it sound as though it is a bad word, but it is not. It is not a wrong, it is not a bad word. It's a very unique word. Now, other words for compatibility are agreement, togetherness, and harmony, and etc. So other words for compatibility, we see agreement, togetherness, harmony, and etc. Now, with these words, we can understand that in order to enjoy sex, we must put in work, and we must let go. We must be willing to adjust and adopt. So, considering the other words for compatibility, which are agreement, togetherness, harmony, we can come to the place where we understand that in order for us to enjoy sex, in order for us to take sex to the next level, we have to come to the place where we put in the work, meaning learning together, growing together, and we come to the place where we let go of the past and focus on what is at hand, and also come to the place where we are willing to adjust and adapt. So it is key. That's how powerful the word compatibility is that is being used wrongly today. Now, this is why life is about flexibility, not compatibility. Being flexible is to bring it to the place where you accommodate and fit in when necessary. is key to living in harmony. Flexibility. When you come to the place where you are flexible in life, it brings you to the place where you are able to accommodate and fit in where necessary. And it is key for living in harmony. So this is why the Bible speaks of sexual commitment. The Bible speaks of sexual commitment. So you have to be committed. You have to be committed to sex. You have to be committed to satisfying your partner. You have to be committed to meeting your partner's sexual needs. So in the same way that you are committed to provide for the family, in the same way that you are committed to look after the children, in the same way that you are committed to provide security and bring happiness in that home in other ways, you will have to be committed to sex. So we do not have sexual compatibility, we have sexual commitment in kingdom marriage. And we can see that in the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, if you consider 1 to 5, Apostle Paul took a stand in verse 1 that it is good for men not to touch a woman. So the apostle came to a place where he took a stand already in 1 Corinthians 7, 1 to 5. In the verse 1, he said, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. You see, in other words, stop sleeping around with everyone in order to avoid you comparing the one that you have married. So we come to the place where we step into commitment. So you will be committed to meeting the need of that person sexually, whether the person is experienced or inexperienced. You will come to the place where you are committed to meet their sexual need. So if you look in the verses 3, 4, and 5, he shows that this is your partner right. In order for you to be committed to them sexually, it is their right. And you have a look in the verse 3, he speaks about the authority of your body. So your partner have got authority over your body, not yourself. And he brought us to the place in the verse 5 where he began to speak about being committed to giving yourself to meet your partner sexual need. So in kingdom marriage, in this kingdom, we do not do sexual compatibility, we do sexual commitment. So because of time, I don't want to read that passage, but if you look at 1 Corinthians 7, you will consider from 1 to 5, you will see that sex is the right of your partner. Your body has been given to them. They have authority over your body, and it is a commitment that you will have to be committed to satisfy them regardless of where they are sexually. So God in his wisdom intended that two virgins come together in marriage to learn everything from the get-go. So the intent of God is that two virgins, a male and a female, come together as virgin, not knowing anything, so you don't start comparing each other. So everything that you learn from that place, everything that you learn from the both of you coming together, is the only thing that you take along with you. And with that, we will see that there will be nothing about sexual compatibility, because we usually speak of sexual comparison, and that's why the intent of God was to bring two virgins together, a male and a female, come together, learn everything right from that get-go, and that is the only thing that they know. So whether they do 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or monkey star or butterfly star, whatever they do, it is all that they know, and they go with that. for the rest of their life. And then they are able to grow and learn and explore as they go along. Now, because the devil knows the power of sex, he have brought men to the place where he introduced men to lust. So the enemy knows the power of sex, so he introduced men to lust. So you will see that for many, we will have many experiences before getting into marriage, and therefore, when we get into marriage, from our past experiences, we begin to bring them in the marriage, and that begin to bring strains on the marriage and begin to hurt the marriage, because you think that your partner is not compatible with you because of the many experiences you have had. They are not able to live up to your standard, or they are not able to live up to your preference. So both male and female play the victim in this area, but women are more victimized. Women are more victimized in the area, because a lady will do all she can to keep herself for her husband, meaning she comes in the marriage as a virgin. Now, when she comes in this marriage as a virgin, with an experienced guy from being around, he now starts comparing her because she is inexperienced. She doesn't really know much. Instead of teaching, he begins to compare, and that is where we get to the place where we begin to speak of sexual compatibility, thinking that you are not compatible. Meanwhile, you are. You just need to come to the place where you learn, you grow, you explore, and it will be a blessing even as you do that together. So women play more victim in this area, because many will come in as a virgin and knowing nothing, not experienced, and you have men that have been around a little bit, and when they come, they want to get their past experience automatically from that person, which doesn't really work like that. So you see, you will have to come to the place where you be patient, where you exercise self-control, and then you come to the place where you begin to teach this person. So whether male or female, whoever that is struggling in that area, you will have to teach them, you will have to work along with them, and together you will come to the place where you learn different styles, you explore different ways, and that is how you begin to build intimacy, sexual intimacy. You begin to build romantic love, and you see that sex will now start becoming enjoyable for the both of you. And the word compatibility, if the both of you are compatible or not, you will see that word will go out of the window, and you will be committed to meeting the need, the sexual need of your partner, instead of coming to the place where you want to compare them. So this is what we really face in today's world. We are not really speaking compatibility. We are speaking comparison. We are comparing our partners to past experiences. Meanwhile, God in His wisdom intended that we will come together, husband and wife, virgin, like Adam and Eve. They knew nothing, but when they came together, they have a baby, they reproduce, and they became one flesh, and they have pleasure in the midst of all that. So there was nothing of compatibility, because there was no one for them to think about. No one. They were not having sexual intercourse, and one is thinking about something else. No. Or one is thinking about another person. No. They were in it. They were together. They were present, and everything that they did it right from the get-go, and they experienced it together. They learn together. They grow together, and they fulfill the purpose of sex in marriage. They reproduce. They came together. They came to the place where they became one, and they enjoy pleasure in the process of it. So as we were saying in the part 1, that sex is very powerful for God and for men. Very important. It's one that brings you to the place where you bring more of the God kind into this world. Like when you reproduce, your children are a blessing, but not only that, they are one that carries the image, likeness, and the nature of God. So that is the purpose of sex in marriage. So when we come to the place where we see the world today speaking about compatibility, is to bring us to the place where we have our mind corrupted, thinking that we are not compatible, and therefore we have to now go outside to look for something else outside that will bring satisfaction to us, and leave this person inside struggling to be satisfied. So we'll have to come to the place where we learn together, we grow together, we explore together, try different stuff, try different things. Everything should be in the confines of marriage that will bring that reflects holiness as well. So when I'm saying trying everything, it's not one that you now go into the world and start picking some things that does not bring glory to God, and that is not where I'm going. But exploring together where you enjoy sex, and sex is not a burden, and sex is not a curse, and you just come to the place where you explore the both of you. Whatever you know, whatever you learn is just from you guys. That is the heart of God for sex. So it has never been about compatibility. It has been about commitment, responsibility. So it is your responsibility to make that person satisfied, meet that person need sexually. It is the heart of God that you love that person, honor that person, even in the area of sex. So there is nothing like sexual compatibility in kingdom marriage. We have sexual responsibility and we have sexual commitment. This is the heart of God for sex. And I pray that this be a blessing to you, and I encourage you to share and be a blessing to others as well. God bless you for now, and see you very soon here on the Marriage of My Youth. God bless you. Bye-bye.